Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play LEGO Star Wars the Video Game, GBA Part 4. Anakin's having some nightmares about his mother. He's becoming hyper-fixated with his mother, so they fly off in a far more movie-accurate starship to Tatooine so we could go back to familiar territory and kill off some more Tusken Raiders. You have no idea what they did, what they were supposed to be doing, what their purpose was, but we're still going to go ahead and kill them anyways, because that's what Qui-Gon Jinn did in the last episode, and Anakin is obviously based off Qui-Gon Jinn. At least Qui-Gon Jinn was an inspiration to Anakin Skywalker, so he's just going to do what Qui-Gon Jinn implicitly taught him to do. Go and kill the sand people. You know, those sand people are quite ruthless. We're in this familiar territory again. I thought, when I was a kid playing this game, I thought it was quite genius that they used this again. It's kind of like we were here before, and now we're coming back here 10 years later, where we're far more mature now, and some things may have changed, but some things still seem the same. Like, there's some areas nearby my town where it still looks the same as it always had for the last 10 or more years, and since this part is obviously not well developed, or, you know, it's like the kind of land that doesn't really have much civilization, it makes sense it wouldn't change much over the course of 10 years. It would most likely be the same. But nowadays, people are starting to realize that this is just those people at Amaze or Kryptonite Games or whoever was making this game. It was just them being lazy. Instead of designing a whole new level, I thought, let's just use a level we already used before. It would save them time and effort, and that way could get the game out on time so more kids at Christmas this year could enjoy the game, even though that came out several months before Christmas. But they want more people to enjoy the game. We're back in Mos Eisley, the same city we were in the first episode. And there's pit droids that run around, and then there's the sand people are still attacking this town. Yeah, I wonder how well this town has did without Jedi coming here. I don't know when the last time a Jedi came here before. So after episode 1, before this, where we're traveling around this town, but it's not really traveling. This part is actually more just following a preset track, really, and just killing whatever comes your way. Just kill whatever approaches you, whatever comes in front of you, just murder them. Anakin does have a unique force move, though, saber throw. I think he's the only character in the game that can do saber throw. It's actually the most powerful force move in the game. It really does a crap load of damage on enemies. It also is going to be like a dual-sided sword. I guess you could say that a double-edged sword is what some might call it, but we'll see that in the last level of the game. So we also have Padme with us this time around, one of the few blaster-wielding characters in this game, because there's not very many blaster-wielding characters in this game. We go and shoot down those targets, and there we go, got a power-up, and look at it, we just rampage through them and go on a killer rampage and just downright murder so many of those sand people. Sometimes it is hard to aim in this version, too. There's no, auto-aiming. You only aim in, 8 directions, too. They're going to be walking down here, and there's, look at that full health pickup. It's always nice to pick up a full health pickup. This same familiar stuff that you've already seen before. If you ever played the level the first time around, you would probably know about this already. So it seems very familiar. We just did that not too long ago, so it's still pretty. I mean, if you play this game a lot, this is going to be etched into the back, into your brain. This will be permanently etched into your brain if you did this a lot. Where you can go, you're going to see Padme would in theory have a green lightsaber, or the Force stamina is green. I'm not even sure what her special power. It's probably the charge shot or something like that. Because if you hold down the blaster, you can actually fire a charge shot. Never one of many things that's only in this version that's not in the home console version. Heck, this whole level isn't even in the home console version. Actually, I'm kind of impressed that they put this in this version of the game, this scene from the movie. You just completely left out the home console version. You would never know about Anakin Skywalker's issues of his mom. He had mommy issues in this game. And we would never have known about those in the console version. And we never would have known about the events that would ultimately lead to him having a red lightsaber. Kind of like in that poster for Star Wars Episode 2 that was shown, where Anakin had a red lightsaber. We all, is Anakin going to turn to the dark side in this movie? It ended up being a big fat lie. So there we go. We just met Owen Lars, her stepbrother. Our stepbrother's kind of a jerk. Well, we knew he was a jerk in the original Star Wars film, but here he's an uber jerk, because now we just showed up. We haven't seen him before. He's actually kind of been expecting us. And what does he do? He makes us work. Yeah, he makes us work on his moisture farm. It's like, yeah, some random schmuck you've heard of before but never seen before just suddenly shows up at your place, and you make him work without any pay. So, yeah, go for it. Well, actually, it's not exactly without pay. We do technically get studs for killing off all these things, killing off these Tusken Raider things that are still attacking the moisture evaporators. In fact, considering the fact that they're attacking the city and destroying his moisture farm, I guess Anakin Skywalker killing off all the women, children, the animals, or you slaughtered them like animals. I guess that's more justified in this game then. And Anakin Skywalker is obviously not as whiny in this game, mostly because most of the characters in this game don't really say anything. This makes sounds sometimes, but that's about it. So it's like very minimal voice acting, just like the home console version, where I think Tom Kane does like the voice characterizations. There we go, just murdered some more of them and stop them from coming up here. There's only 3 more left for us to fix. Maybe the reason why Owen Lars couldn't fix them is because it requires a Jedi to fix them, and Owen Lars is obviously not a Jedi. Or maybe he secretly is, I don't know. The other superior thing about this version is that when you get hit in this version while you're using the Force, it doesn't interrupt what you're doing, and you actually still use the Force while you're taking damage, which is pretty good, because that's a very annoying thing in the console version where you're trying to build something or do something, or use the Force to assemble something, and then you get hit, and then it undoes your puzzle when it's not fully complete yet. But that doesn't seem to happen in this version. They actually knew somewhat what they were doing. Some people might call that an improvement. There actually are a few odd things that this version does better than the home console version. And this is like a whole another storyline. Heck, Episode 2 in this version of the game is so much different from the home console version, sometimes you'd even question if they were actually based on the same movie or not. You can even question if this is really based on Episode 2 at all, considering how far-fetched this is from the actual movie. This is probably the most inaccurate adaptation I've ever seen of Star Wars Episode 2. It just simply begins without any explanation. We're going to the Tatooine again. Well, we do kind of have an explanation, but it's even have the main. It's like they took a subplot from Star Wars Episode 2 and somehow made it the main plot of this game. But then again, I think George Lucas intended for this to be the main plot of the movie, but no one really cared about Anakin Skywalker. See, Anakin Skywalker is nothing but a whiny brat. He's like Chris O'Donnell when he played Robin in Batman Forever and Batman Robin. He's just a whiny kid that thinks that, oh, it should always be about me. When is it ever good? It's always about me. I'm the most important person in the universe. And George Lucas seemed to think that too, which is why he really pushed Anakin as being the main character of Star Wars Episode 2. I remember seeing that movie in theaters back in the day. And they had a poster where it really highlighted, where they made Anakin look like he was going to be the main character, making him the center of focus on the poster where he's like right in the middle of his new blue lightsaber and so it's, which, I mean, that's what was intended, but look at that, they're playing the love theme again. They seem to think the love theme is some sort of tragic theme. Maybe they're making fun of the tragic irony of Star Wars Episode 2. His mom suddenly dies and she screams like Padme. Anakin screams like, yeah, he almost sounds a bit like Stephen Choir. I remember Stephen Choir was dancing to Gangnam Style once. Back in like 2012 or so, and then his brother Jack came in and started filming him, and then he ran after Jack, and then he hit his leg, and then he started like screaming. It actually did look like Anakin Skywalker when he was holding onto his knee and screaming. I tried showing that video to my grandma. Of course, my grandma didn't think it was funny at all, but again, my grandma doesn't know anything about Star Wars Episode 2, or Star Wars in general. She doesn't really know anything about it at all, so I don't think she'd find that to be funny. Or maybe she did, I don't know. She's kind of odd sometimes with kinds of things she thinks is funny. I tried showing her that CI TV show, Zap, or whatever it's called. I showed her that scene where that French guy named Smart Artie, and he was going skiing in that one episode. I showed it to my grandma, and my grandma thought that was pretty funny. That was a classic case of unidentified media for me for the longest time. I remember watching Smart Artie on TV a lot when I was a kid. I had no idea who he was or what his name was. I wasn't even sure if he was real or not. And I thought, is this something I dreamed up? And my mom told me he was real, so I did a huge investigation, and I later found where he was from, and I found the show he was from, and now he's no longer unidentified media now. Unidentified media really is a major baffling concept. Really, it's like, thinking about you saw some sort of movie or show somewhere, you had no idea what it was or what it could have been, and when you go on a huge investigation, a lot of the time you never even find what it's going to be. I remember my father was watching some video on the internet once back in like 1999, 2000 or so, back when my family still had web TV, and I remember seeing they had lightsabers like in Star Wars, but it clearly wasn't Star Wars, it was some knockoff of it, and I still to this day haven't found out what it was or if it was even real or not. This is just like the ending of Episode 1. It's for the last level in Episode 1 where we had to kill droids. Only this time, we're killing the sand people. There we go, look at that, we suddenly kill a bunch of sand people, and the iconic Star Wars music plays. And there we go, it's like congratulations, the level's over. There was a sand people were invading the city, and now you had to go and put an end to their evil plot, and that's the end of the level. Yeah, Anakin's mom's died in this version. You actually don't get to see his mom at all in the other one. And look at that, Yoda even praised us. Done well you have, young Jedi. Kill a bunch of Tusken Raiders you have. Done well you have. That's kind of funny where you use the Force and you can, like, mix and match those battle droids over there. This level really confused me when I was a kid. I had no idea what was going on in this level. I can see that we suddenly switched to Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you can see they use the same, like, set of sprites that they used for episode 1. Yeah, they used episode 1 Obi-Wan in this game rather than create a new set of sprites for his episode 2 appearance. Allegedly, it was due to the limitations of the Game Boy Advance. I actually think it may have been a maze just being lazy. You know, this port suffered from laziness on a lot of occasions. Obi-Wan's exactly the same as he was in Star Wars Episode 1. And one thing that's kind of realistic about this too is, I remember when I was a kid, I have a Lego minifigure of Obi-Wan from Episode 1, but I didn't have any other variants of it, like the Episode 2 or Episode 3 variants. I didn't have any of those. So whenever I want to play for stuff in Episode 2 and Episode 3, I'd be forced to use the Padawan Obi-Wan for the entire thing. So I guess maybe that's what they were reflecting on. You know, if you're a kid that just has that one minifigure, you have to use them for all 3 movies. And Can of Nothing kind of did that too in their low-budget Star Wars prequel trilogy. They used Phantom Menace Obi-Wan for all 3 of the movies. I don't know if that's supposed to be a nod or homage to this game, or maybe a reference to the fact, or maybe that was really the only Obi-Wan toy they had, or something like that, so that's all they had to work with, or something like that. I don't know what their true intentions were. I know most of those videos that were improvised, apparently, but you know, you don't always know what goes on in the creator's mind. I also didn't get why Obi-Wan was going through the droid factory on Geonosis. Since when did he go through a droid factory, go over the conveyor belts, the welding sections, and just slash and kill a bunch of Geonosians and battle droids and whatnot? It took me a while before I realized that, oh yeah, this is supposed to be based on that scene from Star Wars Episode 2 when Obi-Wan infiltrates the droid factory on Geonosis. He starts sneaking up and he learns the truth about the Confederacy, about Count Dooku getting this corporate alliance or whatever it is to take his side, and they pledge their allegiance to Count Dooku and the Separatist movement, and their ultimate plan is to pretty much form a rebellion against the Republic. They actually said that in a deleted scene. I remember there's a deleted scene where Padme goes against Count Dooku on Geonosis, and then she's like, it calls it like a rebellion, like, oh, you're a rebel leader, something like that, which is almost like it's hinting at what the rebellion's later going to become. In the original trilogy, even a rebellion in the context of Star Wars, it pretty much pertains to the original trilogy. It's like it's showing the precursor to what the Rebel Alliance was in the original trilogy, which I thought that was a pretty cool detail. Too bad they didn't use it in the final version of the movie. Yeah, this really did confuse me, because I actually thought this was somehow supposed to be the part where Anakin was on Geonosis and he was cutting through everything with his lightsaber and trying to rescue Obi-Wan, and somehow they made a mistake and put Obi-Wan here rather than Anakin. I mean, Obi-Wan and Anakin don't look that much different in this game either. They actually do look a lot alike. I thought maybe the developers somehow got them mixed up or something like that, but yeah, I guess not. Like I said, this doesn't really have much. Like I said, Obi-Wan didn't even really do much on the droid factory other than spy on the Separatists, and yet somehow they managed to make that a whole level in this game. Yeah, sure, they're using super battle droids against us now, but it's not out of place this time around because, well, this is during the time of Episode 2, so they would have had the super battle droids at this point in time. Oh, look at that. Just after we kill everything, we get invincibility and a whole set of full health, so... Yeah, it's like, as soon as we kill everything, it finally gives us the stuff we were supposed to use to... But, like I said, that must have been pretty easy then if Obi-Wan could single-handedly kill off a bunch of battle droids like that. And collect some Death Star plans. That actually does make sense, too, because the Separatists did have plans to build the Death Star. If you remember from Star Wars Episode 2, I remember showing that movie to a friend almost 2 years ago, and he was like, whoa, that's the Death Star! He was like intrigued by that. The Separatists apparently conceived the idea for the Death Star, and Count Dooku knew about it, and he took it to Coruscant. It's going to be going for weird. And look at that. I actually have a Lego set that looks just like those welding things. That one with Yoda and Dooku in Episode 2. It comes with a Lego thing that looks just like those welder things. They probably use that as a base for this. Look at that. More turrets. It seems like to throw turrets at us. And those turrets do a crap load of damage. You can have really good health. Just get hit by a turret unexpectedly and you're suddenly dead. Or you're in the red all of a sudden. It's like being from the black to red. suddenly, and the Geonosians, there's tons of them. There's like billions of them that exist in total. I'm just giving us a power up now. I thought there was something we could do up there, but I'm just gonna go slash through them. And I also find it kind of intriguing that they put this and they put this. It's like what they put in Star Wars Episode 2 and what they did. It's the fact that they made a level based on this rather than a level based on Kamino or Coruscant, which were more pivotal parts of the movie. Oh, look at that. We just got captured by... Who's that? That captures... Oh, look. It's someone's grandpa. Hi, everybody. I'm someone's grandpa. That's what he looks like. There's a part where Obi-Wan's stuck in that thing, which we didn't see on the console version. All we see in this version, we're stuck in that thing that's keeping him like hovering there. And then he's like, I have to go to the bathroom. But Dooku doesn't care and just talks that the corporate alliance is better and that the Republic is being ruled by the Sith. We locked R2-D2 even though we never used him at all in that level. This is Ray Phoenix signing out.